Hey yo, what it do, baby? It's your boy Dynamic, and today's topic is the tier 3 perks and how they should be used. Before I start, I just want to say that this is mostly opinion based. Some facts might be involved or common sense, but it's still mostly opinion based on the time that I have put into this game. I have about 60,000 kills. I have about 10,000 kills in the last 2.5 months, but in the first 2.5 months of having this game, I had about 45 to 50,000 kills just in the first 2 months of the game. So this is my opinion. So let's start off with the first. I usually start off with the most powerful perk in each tier, and I will start off with sit rep because sit rep obviously, well, to me obviously, is the most powerful perk in the third tier. I've said this many times. The ability to hear enemy players is just about as good as you get with a perk. Like, you can only do that with the pro side. With the regular sit rep, it's basically seeing explosives through walls. Even grenades, you still see like a little red ball coming at you or rolling on the floor, which is always a good thing because it gives you a little bit of time to run out the way. So seeing objects through walls, explosive objects through walls, gives you a big advantage because nothing will catch you off guard. You won't run into a room and a claymore or a bouncing Betty will blow up. You won't run into, let's say a player puts a portable radar, most of the time you won't go into the radius of the portable radar unless you're absolutely sure that you're gonna kill the player that's around it. So next perk is going to be Stalker. Stalker to me is the second best perk in the third tier. It delays enemy explosives like, claymores and bouncing betties and stuff like that. But you also move faster while aiming on the sight. A lot of people like using it with assault rifles, but I don't really like using it with assault rifles. I feel my aim is not as good when I use it with an assault rifle than when I use it with an SMG. When I use it with an SMG, I do a lot better than when I use it with the assault rifle. So to me, at least, the SMG is the best. You swerve from side to side with Stalker, and it messes up the other player's hitbox, or so I have read. So now let's move on to the third perk. Now, the third perk is a toss-up between steady aim and marksman. Why is it a toss-up? Well, because obviously marksman with an assault rifle, especially a very accurate assault rifle, is extremely useful. And a submachine gun with steady aim, or a shotgun, even better. A shotgun with steady aim is also extremely powerful. It helps out tremendously. But I'm going to choose marksman just to go first. Both perks are, to me at least, equally as useful when they're both used in the situations that work out best for them. So I'll start with marksman. Marksman obviously marks enemy players from far distance or close distance. Marks them red, meaning red. Depending on the color scheme you use or whatever. Personally, I don't use colorblind because I have always thought that, well, it's a personal theory of mine, whatever. But I've thought that, okay, that's for colorblind, people that are colorblind. I'm obviously not colorblind. So if I start using that, well, that slowly start turning me into a colorblind person. That's another thing, whatever. So, marksman, yes, marksman. Yeah, you see players from far. You have a very accurate assault rifle, like the one I'm using right now, the MK14. Even though I'm not using marksman, but if you did, it would be very useful. If you use an ACR, it would be very useful. Obviously, using snipers, it's useful. And yeah, so that's the third best perk. That's 3A actually. Now 3B, which is steady aim, it's also very useful, but to me, it's more useful with shotguns and SMGs. The ability to run up into somebody's face and aim down the sight. Well, not really aim down the sight, but your gun comes up faster. And if your gun comes up faster, you can aim down the sight faster. The ability to aim down the sight, aim down the sight quicker than the other player is a huge advantage in close range situations. I wouldn't recommend using it with assault rifle because an assault rifle doesn't have the playing style of mostly getting into somebody's face. Like, it's like with the SMG and the shotgun. It doesn't have that playing style, but if you have that playing style, then I guess you could use it with an assault rifle. Now, the third and the last perk in this series, and it's just the worst third perk, in my opinion, third tier perk, is Dead Silence. Now, I used to be in love with Dead Silence, and I'm not so much anymore. Sit Rep Pro counteracts it very, very well. You can hear a person with Dead Silence coming no matter what, and that's why I don't like Dead Silence. It's not as silent as it used to be. Even playing Search and Destroy, you can tell everybody uses Sit Rep Pro in Search and Destroy, and using Dead Silence does not seal you against that. They can hear you almost exactly the same, and I have felt out of love with this perk, and especially the pro ability. You don't take any damage from falling, but in this game there's hardly any verticality. It's not like COD 4 where you could go on high ledges, or World at War where you could go like on the second floor of maps, and if you have to jump, you jump out. So jumping off things and not taking any damage isn't really that useful, and that's why I have fallen out of love with this perk, and it has lost a lot of its credibility with me. So Dead Silence is the last perk in the game, and it's also the last perk in my series, and it's the worst perk in the third tier in my opinion. So I hope you guys like this. It's my third and last video on Modern Warfare 3's perks, and I will be doing the same for Black Ops 2. So without further ado, guys, peace out, players.